Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're watching me today. My name is Peter. Welcome back to Invest with Peter. So today I'm going to be talking about, some things we need to look at. I'm going to be talking about Nvidia. I'm going to be talking about one stock that you need to be looking at in AI play, and I'm going to be talking about the geopolitical issue that may probably affect us investors, this year 2024, and also the crypto that is flying at the moment. I'm going to tell you the high flyers and what you need to look out for. Well, if you're seeing me for the first time, please subscribe to the channel, like, and put your comment down below. And also there's a Patreon link in the description. Please, if you want to join our Patreon, where we give out stocks and advice, and even though some other things that we know is going to happen very soon in that Patreon, you want to be there. All right, so guys, now first of all, BTC at the moment is running around 60,000, 61, 62,000. I was telling people in my Patreon page that the reason why BTC was not running high when the ETF was approved is just because the BlackRock and all other companies will definitely go to their investors and say, well, BTC ETF has been approved. You want to have a certain allocation in your portfolio that holds BTC. So they've gone out, they speak to these big investors, big money came in, and we can see what happened after that. But what we need to look at is not actually the ETF, is the halving coming on April 2024. So that's going to be the caveat that will push BTC towards $100,000s per one. Now, you don't want to be left out. I always tell people that you want to stay with the big ones. You want to stay with BTC, Ethereum, Cardano, Solana, Chainlink, Polygon Matic, and some other place that you want to play. You want to stay away for now from the meme coins. If meme coins is your choice, if this is your thing, then you can go ahead. But if you want to be assured that your money is safe, like any other thing, you want to stay with the big one. So now, what's my projection for BTC 2024? I was telling people 24 months ago when BTC went down to 16,000 that they need to be looking at this coin now, because it ain't gonna stay here so low like this forever. You need to grab your stuff now. So people that bought that time, they were really happy that, well, this advice was given to them and they took the advice. So I was telling people, and people started dollar cost averaging from 16, 17, 18 and all that stuff. Those who dollar cost average during those period, they were laughing now and they were really happy what they have done. So now, what is the projection now going from here? I told people in my Patreon that we need to take a caution at this point. You don't want to be buying at these levels, because we don't want to get caught out in all these things that is going on between big investors. New money is coming in, new investors are coming in. Wall Street is getting late. They always come late anyway, so Wall Street is involved now. They're buying into this, but when they're going to pull the rug, no one ever knows. So you don't want to be buying at the top. I always tell people, wait. If you want to dollar cost average for for a couple of months and all that stuff, if you're going to stay in this ecosystem for years to come, nothing is stopping you. But if you are a trader or you want to swing trade cryptocurrency, you have to be very careful at this point. But if you want to buy for the long term, this year into these big ones that I've mentioned for a couple of weeks down, months down the line, you don't want to pull a big chunk at once. If the rug is being pulled, you're going to go straight to red. So you want a dollar cost average by monthly, weekly, or probably every 2-3 months, or anytime you get paid at work. So you want to do this into this, but you don't want to go heavy at this point, because if we pull back, if you look at the chart, if we pull back from 62,000, if we go down, if we see any crash around that level for BTC, that's what I'm talking about now, we will be retracing towards 51,000, 52,000 again. But one thing that keeps coming to my mind is that, am I sure if big investor BlackRock will want to lose money in their investment and see Bitcoin goes from 60,000 to 51,000? So what I want you to understand is things have changed now. We have big money in this ecosystem now. So we may not see those big crash when BTC will go minus 70%, minus 6%. We may not see that anymore. Likewise, we may not see a high riser BTC anymore that goes up 30% in a week. We may not see that. We may be seeing slowly grinding up gradually, and that's what we want. We don't want to lose money. We want these you want our investment to go up, slowly climbing up and all that. If it's going to come down, not more than 10%. So that's what my mind is telling me. But my heart is telling me that we may have a pullback, and if any pullback happens now, we will be retracing towards mid 50s at the moment. If it's worse than that, we're going to go to $48,000. But I keep thinking that will big money see their money going down that line? They're gonna probably put a shock absorber in there to just so that they would not lose more money. So that's why I think that the way we see BTC years ago is probably not going to be the way we're going to be looking at this projection going forward, because it's involved Wall Street now. They wouldn't want this thing to liquidate, and they don't want to lose money on that. So let's move on from that. If you are a crypto investor, lucky you came in before Wall Street, and I'm happy for you like that. So now let's go to geopolitical issue. The Napoleon is on the horse again. If you know what I'm talking about, if you live in Europe. Well, Emmanuel Macron was saying last week that he is ready to let his soldier actually fight for NATO in Ukraine. That's another big problem as investor that we need to be looking at and be very careful of, right? Napoleon is back on the horse. We all know when Napoleons get on the horse, they all have their wings and their shoulder on their head like that. They want to go everywhere and stuff. But it doesn't always end up well for Napoleon, okay? Now, Putin had these and was like, well, if any NATO country set their foot in Ukraine, they're looking at nuclear war at this point. So nobody wants nuclear war. And all these stories like this, you may be wondering, why am I talking about geopolitical issue? As an investor, you need to know what goes on around you that may affect your investment. You can't overlook or probably ignore the political issues around you. If you are an investor, if you're just like a trader or swinger, then you need to know more information about what's going on. So we need to know what is actually going to happen that will affect our investment going forward. So things like these, we have to be very careful. But I believe German Chancellor said, no, he's not sending any soldier to Ukraine, and all of the European countries have actually shut that, rhetoric down, that no NATO soldier will be helping Ukraine. So that's good news for us, because we don't want anything that will trigger any crisis that's going to crash the market. No, now let's go to the second one, which I'm going to be talking about. I'm looking at my book because I don't want to forget any issue that I'm talking about. Now let's talk about Nvidia. Nvidia has been my darling since 2020. Okay, I've made lots of money from Nvidia. I sold, I took profit. It is what it is. You always make money, sell, take profit. Always know how to take profit at the right time. You don't want to be investing and just say, okay, you don't see your investment grow, you don't take profit, it goes back down like that. That's not how investment works. So Nvidia is an AI play for every investor. Wall Street marketers always say, oh, Nvidia is going to crash, going to do this. They keep pumping, their stocks, and they keep, I don't mean pumping the stock, their stocks keep pumping up anytime they come out and release their earnings, and they keep beating earnings, month in, month out, year in, year out, and beat market expectation. And I've always tell my friend, watch out for Nvidia. Anytime Nvidia release their earnings, you want to be somewhere. I'm not saying buy before or buy after, but it's always like going positive, uptrend. Whenever Nvidia actually, release their earnings and all that, and I've been watching that closely for the past 5 years. It's a very good AI play, and it's at the forefront. Coming after them is AMD, HAM, and all of that, AI play. However, this stock I'm going to talk about today is Apple, right? Guys, we need to look at Apple. I've got to look at Apple closely. Why? Because Apple just decided that they're going to stop their projection on coming up with an EV car. So they've spent over 30 billion in this, ideology of coming up with an EV, but they came late to EV production. And now they can see the trend of AI, and they were like, well, we're going to stop that rhetoric and stopping wasting money into EV. Let's go to AI sector. So looking at that, if Apple get involved in AI and all that, start producing all this chip and all this mechanism, then the stock ain't going to be looking so low like the way it is at the moment. So at the moment, as I'm talking to you now, Apple stock is 179, 77 or 75, depending on where you are in the world. So now what I'm looking at on Monday or Tuesday is we're going to see Apple make some movement. However, we need to be very careful, because if Apple dropped from 100, and if you check the chart, if Apple dropped below 179, 178. We are looking at 169. That's where another support is for Apple. But if Apple could actually grind towards 180, 181 next week, then we're looking at Apple going forward from there. So Apple is going to be on my watch list, number one on my watch list, and all that. So if you want to play a high, then you can overlook Apple at this point. And when Apple get involved, the stock is going to keep rising, just the way we see Nvidia always beating market expectation. I'm going to be watching out for this company. I have some, but I will probably keep on dollar cost average, because when Apple get involved with AI, everything changed. And this is a $2 trillion company. We know money is involved. They got enough cash in the bank and all that to do whatever they want to do with this sector. So you don't want to overlook at there's all this AI play. And Apple is not only the AI play that we have out there. So many out there. You can do your research and get your hands on some of this AI hype. AI is not going anywhere. That's where the future lies, and that's why cryptocurrency and AI will go hand in hand. They're going to sync when at some point in the future. So money, fiat money is going to go away. AI will determine how much you want to spend, and you have in your cost. Cryptocurrency is what we have now. So, and that's the future of currency. So you don't want to sit down, fold your hand and say, well, let's see how it goes. If you sit down there, come years down the line, you'll regret not making any steps towards, making money out there in this sector. So that's that about Nvidia and Apple. So guys, thank you very much for watching this video. I don't want to make it longer than necessary, but we need to be looking at AI sector. Now, if you haven't have some part of your portfolio in AI, you want to start doing that now. And thank you for watching me. Please subscribe to the channel if you're seeing me for the first time, and I will see you some other time. Thank you very much. My name is Peter. Bye-bye for now. Bye.